Returning the serve in singles seems like it should be easy. You have so much space on the court to hit into, but a lot of people struggle with what return of serve to hit.
So after analysing over 1,000 return of serves from matches on YouTube, we're going to share 6 of the best return of serves you can do.
Firstly, we know it's highly unlikely that everyone watching this video is the same level of player, so we're going to give you one easy, one intermediate and one advanced return for both the low and high serve.
And what you choose to play should depend on your strengths and weaknesses, and also your opponent's strengths and weaknesses, and we'll discuss this more throughout the video. So let's start with returns from the low serve.
The low serve has become more common in the modern game. As we mentioned before, we analysed over 1,000 serves and returns of serves in preparation for this video, and professional males are serving low 86% of the time, and 14% are high or flick serves. And the professional females are pretty different, with 40% low serves and 60% high or flick serves. Of course, this will vary between individuals, but generally this is quite an accurate statistic for the split of low and high serves across all levels of badminton. And despite the serve percentages being different between males and females, we did find some very interesting results about the return of serves, which we'll share throughout the video.
So our first return is the easiest, and one that players of all levels should be able to do, and this is a lift. And I know it might sound basic and boring, but it's actually a really good return, and there's a reason why exactly 56% of professional men and women chose to do a lift from the return of the low serve. A lift pushes your opponent to the back of the court to create space, and often players are so good at the net, playing a net shot off return can invite them in to play another net shot. This will likely be tighter than yours because when you return, you're playing your shot from behind the service line. And if you've been watching our channel for a while, you'll know just how good players like Kento Momota are at the net. So it's no surprise that Victor Axelsen lifted almost all of his returns when they played in the final of the Denmark Open. You always want to avoid giving your opponents the chance to play their best shots right from the start of the rally.
So we have a few key points for you when doing these lifts. Firstly, you should vary the corner that you lift to, and also vary the height of your lift. For example, as you can see here, flat lifts can put your opponent under a bit more pressure, meaning you can step up and try to take the advantage. But these need to be accurate, otherwise they might get you into trouble.
A few more key points for you are to still take the shuttle early, even if you know you're going to play a lift. Don't wait for it to almost hit the floor, otherwise it might be more obvious to your opponent and also put them under less pressure. And finally, don't just stand there and watch your lift after you've hit it. Assess their position and get ready for the next shot. Now let's move on to our intermediate return from the low serve.
And this is playing to the net, which despite what we've just said, can still be a good return. And there are a couple of varieties you can do from here. Either a deep net like this, which makes it more difficult for your opponent to play a tight spinning net shot, or you can play a tight net shot. If this is good quality, then your opponent can only either play a net shot back or a lift, so you can move your positioning forwards to anticipate the net shot, as you should still have enough time to move back for the lift.
As with all of these returns, you want to be playing them in order to get a certain reply. More often than not, they won't be winning shots, but if you can play your return with purpose and look for the next shot, then you can get into a good position and maybe win the point on the shot after this. Better players will always play shots to get shots.
Yeah, and similar to the lift, it's important to vary the corner that you hit your net shot to. Maybe occasionally play a cross net if you've only played straight up until this point. And finally, don't make a mistake. If you're not confident enough to play a tight net, then don't go for it. It's so important to not give your opponent easy points.
Now our third return from the low serve is the most advanced, and this is a deceptive backhand net shot.
Mistakes. Yeah, he cannot afford to do that. His defence.
A deceptive return is a great shot to use to unsettle your opponents right from the start of the rally. In fact, around 10% of the professional players used some sort of deception in their returns. This deceptive net is played from when the serve comes to your backhand side and you look like you're going to play a straight shot, and then at the last second you turn your shoulders to face this way if you're right-handed and this way if you're left-handed. And your shoulder movement is what creates the deception in the shot, so it's really important to get this right. And we wouldn't recommend overusing this deception. About 10% is a good amount, otherwise your opponents will get used to it and it will no longer be deceptive.
Okay, so there are 3 returns from the low serve. Now let's look at what you should do from the flick or high serve. Our first and easiest return is a clear. This return was used around 19% of the time for males and 36% of the time for females. Similar to what we said for the lift, it's used to move your opponents to the back of the court, and it's important to vary the corner to where you clear it to, and really important to hit it accurately with good length. It's so easy for your opponent to hit their third shot on balance and put you under pressure if you're clearing it short to the middle.
Our next return is a drop or clip, which is a slightly faster drop. This was by far the most used shot from a flick or high serve, used 56% of the time by males and 47% of the time by females to be exact. From a forehand high serve, the drops and clips were varied between both straight and cross. However, from a backhand flick serve, almost all of these drops or clips were straight. This is because from the flick serve, you're slightly less on balance, and if you play cross, the easiest shot for your opponents is a straight block or net shot. This would mean you have to move the longest distance on the court and potentially take it late and put yourself under pressure.
Our third return from the high serve is a straight slice, and this is for more advanced players as it requires a high skill level to play it with accuracy. If you slice it to the middle, for example, then your opponent won't have to move and can hit it anywhere and put you under a lot of pressure. The advantage of playing a slice is that the shuttle typically lands in front of your opponent, meaning they have to reach down and they have fewer options of playing a shot that puts you under pressure. This is because you have a fast swing, so it looks like you're going to play a smash, but the slice takes the pace off the shuttle.
Now, you might be thinking, why haven't we mentioned a smash here? Well, when we watched over 100 flick serves to professional males, we only saw a few smashes, and this is often what happened. Putting yourself under this much pressure right from the start of the rally isn't smart, especially when you might only hit a winner 1 in every 10 smashes. Obviously, if it's a rubbish serve or your opponents have rubbish defence, then yeah, you would play smashes.
So, there were our 6 best returner serves you can do in singles. And of course, this isn't a complete list of what you can do, but after analysing so many clips, we found this is what worked best for the pros. And if they work for the pros, they can definitely work for you too.
Exactly, and to be honest, 4 of these shots are fairly basic, so players of all levels can incorporate them into their game, and we'd highly recommend practicing these before going into a game. Don't try and play the deceptive net at 19-all in a third if you've not practiced it beforehand.
Yeah, and if you finish practicing your returns and you want some more ways to practice your game, then we actually have 11 different singles multi-feed programs on our website. These are designed to help you train your singles consistency, explosivity, power, fitness, and much more. If you want to check them out, we'll include a link in the description below. And of course, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like, smash the subscribe button if you haven't already, and we'll see you on another video.